Can you apply for a green card while you're inside the United States on a tourist visa? This is a question that comes up very often, and I wanted to explain in this video, is it even possible to apply for a green card while entering the United States on a tourist visa? See, the tourist visa is an interesting kind of visa because most people who come from all over the world can apply for it. But the thing with the tourist visa is that even though most people can have it on their passport for 10 years, you can only stay inside the United States on a visitor visa for up to 6 months. And during this 6 months period, you have to figure out a way how to convert your tourist visa to a green card. Remember, the more people enter the United States, the more they realize that they have opportunities and an interest to stay in the United States. But it's very important to understand, specifically those of you entering on a tourist visa, that if you make a mistake, specifically in the first few months of entering the country, you may jeopardize your entire stay and maybe even the future possibility to get a green card. So, can you change your status from a tourist visa to a green card? Well, it depends. First of all, it depends on how you enter the United States. The United States Immigration and Nationality Act specifically has a few provisions to determine whether a person who enters the United States on a tourist visa eventually can change their status to a green card. So first of all, let's talk about the 5 points that must occur for you to be able to change your status from a tourist visa to a green card while you enter the United States. First of all, you must enter legally into the United States. You must be admitted and inspected at the port of entry. It's not enough just to have the tourist visa in your passport. You must present yourself to an immigration officer at the port of entry, log your information into the system when you enter, and have maybe even a stamp on your passport. Sometimes they give you a stamp, and enter the United States. If you're not admitted, inspected, you're not going to be able to change your status to any status, specifically a green card as well. Point number 2, you must properly file an application for adjustment of status. When I mean properly, it means that you must have somebody that is available to file for you, either maybe a spouse or an employer that are willing to file the adjustment of status for you, and it must be done properly, typically at least after 90 days of entering as a tourist. Number 3, you must be physically present in the United States to be able to convert your tourist visa to a green card. Now, it might sound obvious, but people are not understanding the fact that you must be in the United States after you've been inspected, as I mentioned in point number 1, and after being here for at least 3 months to physically be on US soil to file the application to change your status. Number 4, you must be eligible to receive an immigrant visa. And what do I mean by that? For example, if you are married to a US citizen, you are eligible to receive an immediate visa. You don't have to wait. If you filed for an employer and you meet certain requirements and your visa category, for example, is an EB1, there's no wait time for a visa, you can also file the application immediately. There's no wait time. And therefore, that makes you eligible to receive an immigrant visa at that time. So if you're not eligible, you're not going to be able to file the adjustment from inside the United States. And finally, point number 5, an immigrant visa must be available for you to file your adjustment of status. For example, if you're married to a green card holder and the priority date is not current, you're not going to be able to change your status from a tourist to that of a green card holder. So be careful, make sure that you check the visa bulletin to see that a visa is actually available for you. So now that you understand the conditions that must take place for you to be able to file a change of status from a tourist to a green card, let's talk about the ways that you can actually change your status from a tourist to a green card in no particular order. We start with number 1, which is the most obvious one, marriage to a US citizen. If you're here on a tourist visa and you meet the love of your life and you get married, as long as you file the green card after the 3 months of your entry to the United States, you should be able to adjust your status from a tourist to that of a green card holder. Now, point number 2, if you find an employer, so let's say you find an employer, you're here on a tourist visa, and that employer is going to file for a green card for you, you'll be able to eventually adjust your status. Now, the caveat with an employment sponsorship is that it's a very lengthy process. And therefore, you need to convert your tourist visa to some other visa while you're waiting for that process. So, for example, if that same employer wants to file for a work visa for you, then they can convert your tourist visa to a work visa, like let's say an O1 or an H1 or J1. And then while you're on a work visa, they can file for the green card parallel for you, and eventually you'll be able to get your green card by converting it from a tourist visa to a work visa and eventually to a green card. Another option is that if you're an investor, you have a lot of money, at least $800,000 that you can invest in a government program like the EB5 Regional Center, you'll be able to change from a tourist to the EB5 while inside the United States. Under recent guidelines, if you're on a tourist visa and you have that kind of money, you can file for an adjustment of status. These are new changes that happened from last year, and you can wait inside the United States while the application form I-526 is pending to the EB5 green card category. So another way, if you're an investor, you'll be able to change your status from that of a tourist to the green card through investment. Another option is that if you're somebody with exceptional ability, let's say you've built a business in your home country, let's say you wrote some kind of a book, let's say you have some kind of a patent on a program, you're somebody of exceptional ability, you'll be able to apply for two self-petition categories, EB1A or EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card. Those are two self-petitions. One is based on exceptional ability, and the other one is based if your project is in the national interest. If you're somebody that can advance this project to show that you qualify, you'll be able to get a green card without an employer, switch from a tourist to a green card while inside the United States. Again, make sure that you remember to check if a visa is available for you. If you're from China, if you're from India, if you're from Philippines or Mexico, sometimes you have to make sure that visas are available, and people from those countries have to wait longer than other countries to be able to be eligible for adjustment of status. And finally, if you're inside the United States and you're afraid to go back to your home country, you can apply for asylum. While you're here on a tourist visa, you'll be able to switch to that of asylum because you have a fear of going back to your home country, and then you'll be able to stay in the United States and pursue your asylum petition. You'll be able to get a work permit while you're waiting. There may be other categories. If you're a victim of a crime or domestic violence, visas like U or VAWA, but the categories I mentioned to you right now: marriage to a citizen, employment category through a job, self-petition through investment, self-petition as an exceptional ability, or national interest waiver, and finally through asylum are the top categories how somebody can switch from a tourist visa to a green card inside the United States. As always, if you need help with your immigration matter, all you have to do is send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationsap.com and leave your details, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.